Hi. Today I wanted to carry on talking about neuroplasticity, which, as you know, you will have gathered, is one of my favourite topics. And I want to talk about it as a tool for us to change, because that's what most people come to see me about very, very often, change. They want to change and they don't believe they can. You know, I don't know about you, but many people have areas of their life where they don't feel enough. They don't feel competent, efficient, they're frightened of it. And rather than believing what people tell them, they think, oh, people are only telling me I can improve in that or do better in that because they love me, because they're my boyfriend, husband, best friend, whatever. I used to be, and still am, terrible at maths. Terrible to the point of being terrified of it. I also had ADD and didn't know I had it, so I would be very enthusiastic, but I'd forget things, forget appointments, and I would feel so terrible about it. I used to think people will think that I don't care about them, and that is so not true. I was shy. I didn't think I could ever talk in front of a room full of people. I didn't think I was capable of passing an exam, of meeting someone who would fall in love with me, of ever getting married, of let alone have children. All those things I was convinced were not for me, because somewhere, somehow, my destiny was set in stone. I wasn't quite enough. So this is why, when I found out about neuroplasticity, it's just opened a whole new world. And this is why I'm so enthusiastic about it. Not only does it allow us to change, once you've studied, and it's really very easy to learn about, it actually sets out the steps. Our brains are malleable. If we change the way we think, our brains are actually listening to that, and we're building new neuronal pathways in the brain. And the more we use them, the stronger those pathways get, the wider the roads get, and the more entrenched the new habits that we're putting on top of the other ones become. One little thing I'd like to say before I go on to the rest of what I wanted to talk about, and that is, I think it's important to be a little bit self-aware. Everybody has one or two areas where probably they have a little bit of a fixed mindset, and as we grow older we develop very strong opinions about things, and not always good. I've been very lucky because I've had two sets of children, and my youngest children are very much younger than my elder children, and so at an age when I could almost be their grandmother, I am living with teenagers, and they're tough. They're tough. They don't let you get away with anything, and sometimes I'll be carrying on about something with great passion and they say, "What are you talking about? You are so set in your ways. You are so rigid." And I think, whoa, whoa. And then I have a think about it, and I am forced to admit that they make a good point. So I give you that thought for what it's worth. Really, all this is about being very intentional, persevering, being focused, and also being self-aware. What is fascinating about this whole concept of growth mindset and plasticity is that originally a lot of the research that was started on it was not at all for any other reason except to probably help people who'd had a stroke, people who had lost the use of a certain limb or part of their body, and it was thought that you had to keep them very quiet, totally rested, don't really fatigue or exercise that part, when we now know that that is exactly what you shouldn't be doing. You should stimulate them, and you should do it in that small window of time, very, very quickly after whatever happened has happened. So that was the second thing. And the next part I wanted to say is, once they discovered that people do and can rewire certain parts that have been hurt by, say, a stroke, researchers also now can look into someone's brain while they're thinking and actually see how our thoughts can restructure our own brain. Now, knowing this, I find, is mind-blowing, no pun intended. It really is fantastic. You can rewire your brain at any age, because this brain of ours goes on evolving and being capable of change right up into old age. If you wanted to be someone more efficient, if you wanted to be someone more punctual, someone more organized, if you put your mind to it and you think these positive thoughts, that's what's going to happen. There is a wonderful expression which really illustrates this, and it's our brain eavesdrops on our thoughts, and that is quite literally what it's doing. Our brain is kind of neutral. It doesn't really matter whether you're thinking positive thoughts or negative thoughts. If you think positive, it'll spit back positive. If you think negative, well, okay, that's what she wants. Boof, she can have that. So what I hope is that I may have convinced you and whetted your appetite, and that you'll go and find out more about this, because it's a wonderful tool. It's a scientifically based tool. It's not woo-woo. It's not like just, oh, I'll think positive thoughts and everything's going to drop into my lap. No, because a little bit more attached to this. First, you have to really make a decision to believe, and make this decision really strong. So anything negative, any negative thoughts, you have got to just keep pushing aside and concentrate on believing. And the second part to that is you then have to take massive action. You have to put up a relentless program of, you make a list of what you want to do and just go down that. And then something really wonderful occurs, and I promise you it's true. There's a lovely poem about that. Once we truly commit, Providence moves and puts in your path all manner of things and people which or who you normally would never have encountered. And this is what happens. But I really think the first step is grasping the way we think affects us, wires us, and to a certain extent conditions the rest of our life. Now, in my last kind of part of this neuroplasticity, I'm going to be talking, and you can find it up here, I'm going to be talking about how we can teach our children and our teenagers how to have a growth mindset and how to use neuroplasticity to their own advantage. So I hope you love this. I hope it interests you, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it. But please, in the links below, I'm going to put some references to some wonderful podcasts and a couple of books. I'd love it if you went and listened to them, because it truly is, I believe, the cornerstone of what you can or cannot do with the rest of your life. Bye bye, and I hope to see you soon.